Such a lovely sight right behind us, a family of Olomagao, and that is Maasai for hippopotamus. Greetings everyone from whichever part of the world you're watching us. Welcome to our third and final day of CGTN's coverage of the Great Mara Migration. And remember, we have even gone beyond the Maasai Mara National Reserve to give you action from other wildlife habitats, including the Samburu National Reserve, as well as the Amboseli National Park. Today, we're going to have a very interesting conversation, and as you can see, we are dressed a little colorful and differently just to capture even more of what we have in store for you. My name is Jerry Owili.
And I am Penina Karibe. I have to say I'm very impressed with Jerry's grasp of the Maasai language. I don't think I'd have remembered that hipponym in Maasai, but yes, it's an absolute pleasure to be here on this final day. Very thrilled to be in your company. It's been an exciting 2 days. Looking forward to this final day and what's new for us. Today, as Jerry mentioned, we're indulging in the Maasai community. That is one of the tribes that are tasked with preserving this beautiful ecosystem that is the Maasai Mara National Reserve. And they have quite a very rich knowledge and grasp of the wildlife that surrounds them. They have coexisted with these animals for millennia. And I think they're just a perfect tribe that can truly be able to take care of these animals, and also just to learn more from them. Some of those interesting fun and tidbits that we can pick from them. You know, how do they survive with these wild and dangerous animals? How do they actually manage to even predict weather patterns with absolutely no technology? They've done that for so many years, for centuries. So today we'll hear all about it. We'll be having a very special guest in studio, but I don't want to give too much away. I guess as we go, Jerry, they will actually be able to know what it is we're talking about.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. And we hope you capture everything, because even for us here on set, we are so eager to learn more about the Maasai culture. These are the people who are known as the guardians of the wild. They are the first line of defense between the wildlife and the humans that live in the areas that surround these rich wildlife habitats. So we're going to have very interesting conversations from now on going through. But before we get into that, my colleague Marion Gachuhi had a chance earlier on to meet with the Kenyan Cabinet Secretary for Tourism, that is Miss Rebecca Miano, for an interesting chat, and this is how it went.
Kenya's tourism sector has shown remarkable resilience and growth, with projections for 2025 looking very strong. What do you attribute this success to, and what are your key priorities for sustaining this upward trajectory in, say, coming years?
It is true. The Kenya tourism sector has shown a very strong performance, and especially 2024 and 2025. So we can say we are on an upsurge. We recorded the highest number of visitors ever, international 2.4 in 2024. And even in terms of earning, $452 billion Kenya shillings is very good. And we have also noticed that our source markets are diversifying from the traditional countries where we got visitors from. We have seen new markets emerging, including Asia, and specifically China, Asia Pacific, some of the other European countries. They are showing a very strong performance. And going forward, some of the anchors that we are working on and the pillars, number one is to diversify the products. Kenya traditionally has been known for safari and beach, but we don't want to be boxed only into that narrative, because it's a country with diverse products. And therefore we have a strategy as a ministry to diversify, together with the private sector players, to diversify the products so that we can include sports tourism, adventure tourism, wellness, agriculture, and many more that this country has to offer.
The Maasai Mara is undeniably the jewel in Kenya's tourism crown. However, with its popularity comes challenges like over-tourism and environmental concerns. So what measures is your ministry implementing to ensure the long-term sustainability of this vital ecosystem?
Yes, the Maasai Mara is a national reserve under the Narok County, but of course the ministry is responsible for policy formulation. And we are working closely with Narok County, and some of the initiatives that are there are green infrastructure. We are encouraging investors, we are encouraging everyone to embrace green tourism. For example, solar for lighting, recycling water. We also are doing environmental management, giving rules and conditions. If you look at the Mara management plan, it has set out the do's and don'ts so that we do not suffer over tourism, so that we do not degrade this jewel that Kenya has that is so special. And therefore, everyone in the Mara is supposed to take care of the environment, may it be waste disposal. We are also doing a lot of research. We have set a research center within Mara to look at the trends, to look at the effects of tourism, to look at the trends for animals, and that will enable us to have data-driven decisions and policies. And one of the other major ones, the animal census, the wildlife census that is going on, to see which species are more endangered, which ones are thriving, which ones are reducing, so that then we can make proper decisions in order to manage Mara. Because we know Mara is there not only now, but for generations to come. Technology is another strategy. In the Mara already, there is a system to track all the activities in the reserve so that you are able to just know what is happening, and again, you reduce anything that affects the animals and the environment. They have CCTV, the Earth Ranger system, so technology is another big one. And of course, restoration of the environment consistently. And so there is always monitoring and evaluation, because sustainability of Mara is a very big thing for Kenya. It is on top of our mind and on top of our policies.
Community involvement is crucial for sustainable tourism. How is the ministry collaborating with local county government in working with Maasai communities to ensure they benefit directly from tourism in the Mara, and that their culture and traditions are respected and preserved?
Yeah, there are various initiatives that have been formulated, and one of them, especially just outside the game reserve, they are community conservancies. So where communities come together and they've set up conservancies, they have put up eco-lodges, which then give them economic empowerment because they earn from the eco-lodges. And the community conservancies have actually enabled communities to participate in the wildlife economy. While at it, they also conserve animals and the environment. And we have seen communities benefiting, being able to have economic activities, for them being able to pay school fees for their children. Employment is another big one. Around Mara, most of all those establishments, employment is derived from the local communities. And so the partnership between communities, the Narok County government and the national government is a solid way of ensuring the sustainability of Mara. And we always encourage that partnership to become even stronger. And we also want to preserve the culture. And like I said, as we diversify the products we have for tourism, cultural tourism is becoming a big thing, and communities can also have activities to showcase their culture. If you go to Sekenani Gate at the Maasai Mara, where we have the Ushanga complex, that is one of the ways that we are preserving the culture of the Maasai people and the local community, and be able to integrate it with tourism. And that is for preserving culture, for employment, and for economic empowerment.
Kenya is also diversifying its tourism offerings beyond wildlife safaris. What other segments are you actively promoting, such as cultural tourism, adventure tourism, or coastal experiences? And how do these fit into the broader strategy for attracting a wider range of visitors?
Yes, like we said, the Creator endowed Kenya with a lot of tourism products and facilities. And we cannot, the least we can do is develop this for the whole world to partake. I occasionally say that Kenya is a gift shop to the world from God. And therefore we have to equip the gift shop appropriately. And that's why we are diversifying. The coastal area has been very, very strong, but we are now diversifying marine tourism, marine sports, making sure that all the products that we have at the coast are well developed so that we sustain that. Places like Diani, the beaches there, the pristine beaches, you will not find such beaches in many places in the world. So it is very special, and we are working on that. We are also working on meetings, incentives, and conferencing and exhibitions, what we call the MICE sector. And that is critical because we get business and leisure. It is known that a business tourist or a conference tourist spends 2 to 3 times more than the normal tourist or adventure tourist. So we are packaging what we call bleisure, business and leisure, so that we can hold as many facilities or as many conferences, exhibitions as we can. And Kenya is a good destination because after your conference, you have a whole menu of what else you can do. Cultural and heritage tourism is another one. We all know that Kenya is the cradle of mankind, or the origin of human life. And we are tracing the roots so that we welcome everyone to come back home. That's something we are packaging together so that the world can be able to enjoy their roots and come back home. Adventure tourism and the whole of hiking, trails is gaining a lot of traction. Every weekend we see a lot of adventure. And all these things that we are talking about is not only for international tourists, it is domestic tourism also in it. We have seen that grow very well. Last year we recorded more than 5.5 bed nights of Kenyans just going around their country to see all these offerings. But again, we are also working with the counties to ensure that each county has a product where Kenyans can go there, even as we promote domestic tourism.
Looking ahead, what is your vision for Kenyan tourism sector by, say, 2030? And what kind of legacy do you hope to leave as the tourism minister?
Thank you. The vision that we have for the tourism sector, and you know, tourism sector is one of the pillars for the economy of this country. So by 2030, we are looking at about 1 trillion shillings in earning, looking at more than over 5 million annually of visitors coming in. We are looking at putting in our young people as an integral part of tourism. Already over 80% of all the workforce in the tourism sector comprises of the youth. And therefore, let it not be just a channel for employment, but one that gives them businesses. We want them to be good entrepreneurs in the tourism sector, to support us with their tech. And so we want to see, one of the vision is this, to be embracive a lot of the young people, give them employment, entrepreneur opportunities, strengthen economic empowerment. And of course, we want to see the whole world come back here to Kenya. I would like to grow the tourism sector in such a way that I position Kenya as the world's emotional and natural reset, so that everyone can come back home and reconnect with their soul. So I want to make Kenya to be a feeling and a must-visit destination for the whole world.
That was Rebecca Miano, Kenya's Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife, of course, giving some insights regarding tourism and wildlife. And she touches, among other things, responsible tourism, as well as the value of engagements between national and county governments with the local communities. And remember, that community that surrounds the Maasai Mara and other parks around Kenya will be our focus today. And as you remember, we are still in Regalia. That is known for the Maasai community, which has also become known as the face of Kenya. You see a lot of this regalia even outside Kenya whenever there's a national event, whenever there's an international event where Kenya participates, you will tend to see some of this. And I'm so curious, Penina, we're going to speak, of course, about the Maasai culture, the community, their traditions. What is it that you're really looking forward to?
Oh, Jerry, a lot. But I think for me, the thing I'm most interested in is how they have managed to coexist with these wild animals for so many centuries, you know. I remember yesterday telling the viewers rather, that you come from a part of Kenya that has a lot of hippos. What I didn't mention is that I too come from a place in Kenya where we have a lot of snakes and a lot of hippos. And we had our own interesting ways of navigating and just sort of getting around these animals. And whenever one of us fell victim, especially to the snake, you know, be it a bite or just a spit of the venom in the eyes, we had our own, you know, our own traditional ways of dealing with that. And so I'm just curious to know, for us it was just the snakes and the hippos, but for the Maasais it goes beyond that. It is so many other dangerous animals. It's the lions and the buffaloes. And by the way, Jerry, you know, even as we were talking about the hippos, there was a group of buffaloes right behind us. Yes. And I think that just tells you how there's an abundance of these animals in this ecosystem. And I imagine because they are pastoralists, you know, they take out their animals to graze, they obviously encounter these animals. So how do they do that? We know they don't kill them anymore. So how is it that they've managed to be able to handle all of that? Plus, also I want to know about the weather patterns. You know, long before technology came along, they knew where to take their animals. Somehow, in a way, I guess like the wildebeest do, like Dr. Paula Kahumbo was saying, they have a way of just sensing the rain and knowing where it is, and so it is time for us to move. I feel like the Maasais also have a way of just knowing, okay, where do we take our animals? Where do we find the green pastures and the water? So for me, it is all of that, Jerry. Yeah. Good
stuff. And one of the jokes that has been going around, even from among the members that we have here, is, have we ever asked ourselves what the Maasai Mara National Reserve would be if it were not surrounded by the Maasais? And a lot of different answers. Oh. A lot of different answers. Some people saying, I don't think my community would take care of these animals in the way that the Maasai community has taken care.
I think I belong to one of those communities where I think we'd have eaten all of them, you know.
Yes, and it's such a huge responsibility.
Yes, it is.
And they have to have such a good understanding of the value that the park and the wildlife offer to the community. And so these engagements, even that the CS Miano was speaking about, of bringing on board the community that surrounds these parks, to also just be the first line of defense against poaching, against harming the animals, against encroaching into their lands. It's very crucial. It's very crucial to ensure there is some collaboration that exists between both the community and the authorities. And it's a very important thing to do, to ensure that they learn this even from childhood. And among the Maasai people, part of the things that we have already learned with our engagements with them is they start young. They start young, and they grow up with it to a level where they understand everything that they're needed to do and what they're not allowed to do, and that works in favor of the animals.
And that's one of the things I think that impresses me the most about them, because they happen to be one of the very few tribes in Kenya that have held on to that, to their culture. You know, as Jerry mentioned, all of this regalia we're adorned in today, there's so much rich history behind it, so much symbolism behind it, a lot of culture behind it. Every piece of jewelry, the color that we're adorned in, every one of those things talks about something meaningful to just not the Maasai people, but also the wildlife that surrounds them. And so I had an opportunity just a few days ago to visit a village that is just around the Maasai Mara National Reserve. Take a look at that how went. Hi everybody, this is a special focus on the Maasai culture. My name is Penina Soba. That is Maasai, which means how are you doing? And today I'm joined by Duncan, who is our host. Hi Duncan.
Hi.
Introduce yourself, please.
Hi guys, my name is Duncan. Welcome to our village. Just briefly to explain you about the meaning of the dances. The first dance is to welcome you and appreciate you. Long time ago, the Maasai had to kill a lion, so the first dance is to welcome the Moran after killing a lion. So nowadays, no more poaching. The first dance is to welcome you and appreciate you for the coming of our village. Then the second one is a jumping competition where the Maasai can seduce their girlfriend. It's the only the Maasai can seduce their girlfriend. So the more you jump higher, the more many girlfriends come in the village.
Oh,
then the last one is for ladies. It's to appreciate you and bless you when you come back to our villages. We bless you and many blessings. So that's the meaning of the dances. Let's join ourselves as we go proceed for the village.
Okay, let's go and see the village.
We don't have an electric fence. We usually have this one croton to fence our villages. As Maasai, no electricity. So this one croton, the group of men just gather together. They go to the hills, bring some crotons, then they dig down to fence the villages for protections against wild animals.
So is that a type, like a specific type of tree that is used?
This one is a croton tree.
Okay.
This one for fencing the villages.
And who does the fencing? Is it the men or the women?
The men.
Aha,
A
okay.
group of men gather together,
Right.
then go to the mountains, remove some branches of the crotons, then defend the villages. They dig down, then defend the villages.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how long does it take to do a fence like this?
Just a one day.
Oh, it's just a day's job?
day.
Oh, wow.
So let's
That's
proceed
impressive.
inside.
Okay.
So this one is the entry gate. This is our entry gate. So this one is the Maasai padlocks for closing the gate.
Oh, this is the padlock.
It's a padlock.
You know, it just looks like firewood. If you look at it, you'd think it's firewood.
It looks like firewood, but
Yeah.
this one is the Maasai padlocks. So now it's time for ladies. The meaning of our ladies dance is to appreciate you for the coming and to bless you when you go back to your counties or your country with many blessings.
Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sure I'll enjoy the ladies' dance.
So, yes.
Yeah, so that is a song, like Duncan said, it is a welcome song to the guests here. I think I could pick a few words. Sidai is a word that I know very well. It means very good, right, Duncan?
Very beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful. That is what it means. And they're talking about some of the blessings that they're sending you away with. I think they mentioned the cows,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What were they saying about the cows?
Telebenkiting is like milking the cow.
Oh, milking the cows.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Because I know a cow is a very significant animal for the Maasai community,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and where we are standing, actually, I see a bit of cow dung.
Is where the cow sleeps.
This is where they sleep.
Yeah.
Why do the cows sleep like in the middle of the homestead?
Because the horses is around them for protections.
I think I'd like you to show me one of the houses that you've built, just to understand when you talk to us about the cow dung and the role it plays in your architecture, we can get the real picture of what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this one, so is one of the house.
right.
So in Maasai community, men cannot build the houses because it's awkward when you see a Maasai male building a house. It's like a curse.
Oh, really?
So the work of ladies is to build the houses. The work of men go for grazing and looking for the job. Ladies build the houses and take care of the children.
So a house like this, what do you call it in the Maasai language?
Manyata.
It's called a manyata.
Yeah.
How many people fit in here, for example?
So firstly, Papa and Mama.
Papa and Mama live in here.
Then children. In case you have 10 children,
Yeah.
all of them is living inside the house.
Okay.
So as I tell you, the Maasai will do polygamy.
Right.
So one wife, one house. Another wife, another house. The reason why two wives cannot live in one house, because they can fight each other. So polygamy,
Yeah.
many wives, many problems.
Okay. Many wives, many problems.
Yeah.
That I can relate with. So Duncan, what is this hat for?
So this one is a Colombian monkey. We used to kill the Colombian monkey, then remove the skin. We cut some pieces of the Colombian monkey to be the hair hat for dancing.
Oh, it's for dancing.
It's for dancing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who wears this hat?
Only men's.
Only the men.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's for dancing. What kind of songs?
The welcoming dancers, we do the welcoming dance before, then so jumping one. When you jumping high, this one can fly to you easily.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
Oh, we can have some seats over here.
Let's have a rest here.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, and I noticed that the seats are different.
Yeah.
Yours is a three-legged stool.
Yours is two.
Mine looks like a bench.
Yeah.
Why the difference?
This one?
Yeah.
This one is only for men.
Ah, I see.
Ladies cannot sit on this one, so ladies use this one. So this one is only for men.
So this is for the ladies and for children, I
Yeah.
imagine, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right, so tell us about the weapon you're holding. This is a spear.
This one is a spear.
Yeah.
The meaning of this one, so I have two parts. So this one, the first part here is for practicing. So if you want to practice to be a Maasai man, use this one for practicing. Then this one for hunting the animals. So we don't use this one for cleaning the downs. We use this one to clean the down, and for practice one.
Okay.
This one for protections against wild animals, like leopards, lions. When the lions can attack your animals, the first one is here. This one, you arrow this one, you take arrow this one. So this one is a second weapon for protections. You cannot draw this one.
So I think I need to go now and look for some ladies, and then they can also explain to me why I'm dressed the way I am.
Yeah.
Please take me to where the ladies are.
Let's go to look at one ladies to
Okay.
explain for us about
Yes.
that one.
All right. Oh, I like when you bend over, your heart just it whips around so nicely. So this has been made here.
Yeah, they made it. They want to make the beadwork.
Okay.
So the ladies do, as I told you before,
Yeah.
ladies do the beadwork,
Yes.
then men do the curtain work.
Okay. So she can explain to us what is the meaning of the different jewelry that she's wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tulikuwa joka nyo kanyo kuloka rush kuno nonko kila kina ndio mwana uligyo. So ask a question. So this one?
Yes. This one, the red one.
Laya mahina mema. So this one, the red one and the yellow one,
Yes.
for unmarried ladies.
Oh, okay.
So as I see you are unmarried.
I'm now an unmarried lady.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about
This one for the married women.
Okay, so the yellow and brown for married women.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's
okay.
another different colors for married one, but yellow and red unmarried ladies.
Okay, okay. All right. So what about her necklace?
This one for mothers, ladies, mothers, all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between what she has and what I have?
Jokanya tofautiana ena.
Uh-huh.
This one for unmarried ladies, for
Okay.
to be prepared for married.
Aha.
Yeah.
So now I'm being prepared for
Yeah,
marriage.
prepared to be married.
Okay, and the one she has on the bracelets. Yeah.
So this one for to be beautiful, everything about to prepare to be married. For the instructions about the boys.
Uh-huh.
When you are going to the ceremonies, everybody can say you are very clean.
Okay. Do children wear the beadwork, or is it just for the grown-ups?
Kesho vungara what is it? Yes, everybody can wear that one. Small one for the kids.
Okay, okay. And is that just for girls or just both boys and girls?
Ndo yake eshobujanga yok. Both boys and
both.
girls.
Okay.
Middle one for boys, bigger one for girls.
Oh, okay. I see the difference. Okay.
This one for boys,
Aha.
and
Oh,
the
I
bigger
see.
one for girls.
Well, Duncan, thank you very much for hosting us in your village today. I have certainly learnt a lot, yeah. And thank you very much for joining us. We hope you've learned quite as much as I've done. And hopefully next time you visit Kenya, you can visit the Maasai community. Get to indulge in their rich and diverse culture. Until next time, bye-bye. Oh, it was a real adventure being there, spending the day with the Maasai community, just absorbing everything, every piece of information that they had to share about who they are as a people, you know, some of the beliefs and just some of the systems, social structures that they have. And one of the other thing I can tell you is that the beadwork, the jewelry that we have, oh my goodness, true craftsmanship. I mean, those ladies sit there, it's a true labor of love, and they put together the beads so fast. It's incredible just how quickly they do it, and the end result, as you can see, beautiful piece of work. I'm still in studio with Jerry, and today we also have a very special guest, Duncan, whom you saw in that piece, is now with us. Duncan, thank you for joining us once more here. I really had a lot of fun just spending the day with you, you know, and being in your community, getting to learn more about your culture. But it's something I didn't ask then that now I should ask.
Sure.
I didn't get a Maasai name when I visited you. Can I get one now?
Sure.
And which name would you give me?
Nashipai.
Nashipai?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Always happy.
Always happy. Jerry, did you hear that?
I heard that. I heard
Always
that.
happy.
And what name would you give me?
Leshan.
Leshan.
Yeah.
What does Leshan mean?
A person who born when it's raining.
Oh, I was born when it's raining.
Yeah.
So it means I was my birth was for seeing plenty.
Yeah.
Ah, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff.
And, you know, he said something very interesting earlier, Jerry, when we were chit-chatting. He said that sometimes you get a name depending on how your forefathers behaved. So, for example, if you were a thief, the child that you get would get such a name, meaning a thief. But I was also curious to know, if you don't want that name, is there anything you can do to get rid of it?
Just I get a nickname, but the original names the rest of your life.
It stays that way.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's one way of ensuring that people adhere to, you know, good moral values, I guess. Yeah.
It is. And one of the things that I also took from the package that you did there is that the Maasai people live in a very closely knit social structure where everyone understands their role.
Yes.
And I guess that also plays a huge part in, you know, just how they are able then to protect this ecosystem that has been put in a way, in some small way, in their responsibility.
Yeah.
And that is why even right now you have been watching some images of wildebeest crossing the Mara River, and that is always one of the most thrilling part of the Great Migration every year. A lot of people come into Kenya during the June, July, August season when the animals are migrating from the Serengeti National Park in Tanzania onto the Kenyan side, which is the Maasai Mara National Reserve, and they wait for that thrilling moment when the animals are able to cross from the Tanzanian side through the crocodile-infested river onto the Kenyan side. And it's a time of danger, but neither side, neither the Serengeti side nor the Mara side is still safe for the animals, but they have to do it to continue surviving in these two ecosystems. So Dan, I just want you to now take us back to the Maasai culture. Where does it all begin? Where do the Maasai people originate from?
The Maasai people originate in East Africa. So they start from Rwanda. It has the road like Turkana, come to Kenya. Separated into three. Some people go to Kajiados, Mbozeli, Samburu, and Narok, and then the rest one go to Tanzania. So we just stay in a little time for Nairobi. Nairobi is a name for Maasai. Start from Nairobi and Kare. So the Swahili people, the English people change to Nairobi, but the Maasai name Nairobi and Kare. Then they go to Mount Kenya, and then some people in Mount Kenya we stay there for a period of short time because the Mount Kenya is so cold to our cows and so cold to our Maasai. So they just take a short period of time. Then they migrate to go to Samburu. Then we leave some Maasai in Samburu. Then the rest of us will come to Narok. Then the 1 million go to Tanzania.
And I'm also curious to know, you're well known of being like really effective pastoralists. What kind of animals do the Maasais work with?
So in Maasai we have the 3 types of clan. So every clan have their animals. So we have an elephant clan, a rhino clan, and lion clan. So the 3 animals are very important for us.
So now that we have, for example, the wildebeest migrating to Kenya, we know scientifically that the wildebeest follow rain. You know, whether there's rain or, you know, good grass for pasture, they come. But I want to know, is there any significance for the Maasai when it comes to the wildebeest migration? Does it mean anything for you, and maybe even just how your cycles for grazing your animals? Any connection with that?
So, you know, the wildebeest, crossing of wildebeest is very important for us, but sometimes it's very dangerous for the Maasai, because when the wildebeest are crossing to come to Maasai Mara, the cows can get many diseases for the wildebeest, because when the wildebeest get bad, the cows can die, so many cows can die. So the wildebeest can be very important and also very dangerous for us.
So how do you prevent your cows from diseases?
So we take our cows far away from the wildebeest, we take from other places. So we do go, when the wildebeest come to Kenya, the cows transfer the cows to Tanzania. So we do rotation of it.
Okay. You know, Jerry asked you a question about some animals, you know, and he said the people who, you know, believe different clans have different beliefs about these wild animals. You know, Jerry, he said something very interesting to me, that one of those animals is the elephant. I remember Dr. Kahumbu mentioned it to you, that they believe some people believe they originated from the elephant. And I heard something that if a Maasai comes across the placenta of an elephant, it's considered good luck. Is that true,
Sure.
Duncan?
Sure.
Yeah, tell us more about that.
So when you come across for elephant placenta, firstly, you can make a circle or some fillet inside the placenta, because the placenta is for blessings, for livestock keeping, and also for the children. And the Maasai believe when you get a surround of placenta of the animals, in the future you can get many cows or many sheep or many goats.
Wow.
That's good. That's really interesting. What other lucky charms are there in the Maasai culture? What is it that happens and then you interpret that as luck?
So as my grandfather told me about the placentas and about the elephants. So for example, when you get a placenta of the animals or a placenta of an elephant, so important. So firstly, when you come across on it and then you just go away, you're not a good person, you don't get lucky. So firstly, if you get a placenta of animals, make sure you put on a good way, or you're surrounded on it. Don't go away without surrounding, using some crotons, some African green hearts, and some acacias. Just make a circle or a fillet for it.
Good stuff. Now let's get into the social structure of the Ma people. So many people living together. How do you ensure order? Who does what at what time?
So in Maasai, we usually have 4 special people. So the first one is a chief, the second one is a midwife, the third one is a doctor, the last one is a blacksmith. So a chief is a person who take care of all village, who make orders, who make discipline. But we select a chief using a good morals, not a person who got anger and crime, not a person who have bad morals. So we select a chief using an older one, but have good morals. And then you go for a midwife. A midwife is a person who protects the pregnant wives and also take birth of the babies. And then a doctor in Maasai, we don't trust on the government doctors. We trust on the local Maasai doctor. So a doctor is a person who goes some hills, some mountains, brings some herbs of the tree, then he boil. He give people to drink. The local Maasai, us as Maasai, we trust on the local Maasai doctor, no hospitals. So I just boil the herbs of the tree, we drink it. It's good for knees, backbones, headache, and stomach. Sometimes you can see the Maasai have no big bellies. So the Maasai have no big bellies because of the local medicines. And also the blacksmith is a person who makes spears, everything we have, coppers, brass, knives like this one. Can I show you?
Yeah.
Sure, yes.
Wow.
So this one is a knife. So a blacksmith is a person who makes knives, spears, coppers, brass. Copper is good for mosquito, and then brass is good for skins. So this one, let me tell you about the meaning of this one. So this one is for protections. The Maasai have 2 types of protections, a spear and a knife. The spear is for hunting the animals, the first weapon you can hunt the animals. For this one, it's for more protections. You cannot draw this one. So when the lion is nearly to attack you, just use this one for another second chance for protecting your lives. Then this one also, we use a knife to cut some crotons, some leopard trees to defend the villages. Then also for eating the meats. So it's the meaning of this one.
You know, Jerry, I think one of the things we didn't manage to show in that clip was when Duncan was taking me around the village, he took me inside the house.
And the house is used for so many things. It's where they sleep. It's where they, they spend the evening. But also they cook in there. And so there was soot up the roof. You and I, when we see soot, we think of it as, oh, this is something dirty, we need to get... Yeah, but Duncan mentioned that they take it as black as it is, and they use it as cough medicine for children and for grown-ups as well, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, how do you use it? Do you boil it and then, or do you boil it in water, or is it put in cold water and you stir and you drink it, or how do you use it?
So we use it after the doctor give you some medicine, then the small children, we don't give the medicine for the small children. We use that one for a small smoke inside the roof of the house. We just boil it. After we boil it, we do sieving. After sieving, so the Maasai have no the original type of sieving. We use grass for sieving it. So we use grass and some leaves. We just sieve it in the cup. Then we give small children to drink. It's good for coffee.
Wow.
And so I'm still very curious about the men. So how are responsibilities divided among men, women, children within the Maasai culture?
The work of men in the Maasai culture is to take care of the cows, then go for looking the jobs for the children. And the work of ladies is to build the houses and take care of the children. So in Maasai, you cannot find a male building a house. It's like a curse, or it's awkward when you see a male person building a house. So the work of ladies is to take care of the children and also to building the houses. So one lady cannot manage to build one house. It's like a group of 6 ladies can help each other to build one house. Then the house can take a period of 3 months to be completed, and then 10 years guarantee without not building another house. So the ladies go to the hills, bring some branches of the tree, some herbs, some leaves to fix to build the house. Then men go for grazing and looking after the jobs, and then something for the children.
And how do unions come about? Marriage, how do you go about that?
So let's go for marriage. So in our community, the first wife is your parent to choose. For example, you're my father and he's my mother, for example. So you are the first wife, you are the one to choose for me the first wife. Then the first wife choose the second wife. Then the second wife choose the third wife. Then the third wife, fourth wife. Then the fifth one was the choice of the husband. So we go to a long time ago, you must kill a lion for you to get a wife. So nowadays no more poaching. The Maasai protect the animals. We love the leopards because many clans come from different countries. You see the lions, leopards, cheetahs are crossing. So nowadays no more poaching. We go with how many cows you have, how many pieces of land you have, how many wives you can marry. So one wife, 10 cows. Another wife, another 10 cows. So 100 cows, 10 wives. So one wife, one cow, no wife.
It almost sounds like if you're poor in the Maasai community, you'll end up with no wife.
Yeah, you're going to die a bachelor.
But it's interesting when Duncan was talking about the roles, the different roles for different gender, it almost comes across as though the men don't really do much. It's the women that do, most of the chores. They take care of the children, they will cook, they will build the houses, they'll milk the cows, they'll do the beadwork. What about the younger men? What is their role, their so-called morans, for example?
So in Maasai we have 4 stages or 5 stages. It's like HIV. So you go the first stage is birth. The second stage is incisions, the removal of the lower teeth. Then there's
tell us, what does that mean, the removal of the tooth?
For identifications.
Oh.
And also sometimes you can say Maasai when you're speaking, it cannot differentiate with Z and S, same language, same letter. So the removal of lower teeth is for identification. Easily identify this one's a Maasai and then this one's not a Maasai. So the removal one is for identifications. Then the third step for circumcision, about 14 years to 16 years circumcision. Then 16 years to 24 years, some small boys, a group of boys, the age mates, go to the hills, go to the jungle for several times of years, hunting the animals. Then after coming back of hunting the animals, some lions attacks the boys, then some dies, then come back. So after they come back, we celebrate it. Then the last stage is marriage.
So Jerry, do you think you'd be able to handle a lion?
No. He actually says it so casually. They wish for several years.
Yes.
Sometimes they encounter wildlife, they encounter lions. Some of them may not be able to come back. If I know there is a chance I'm not coming back home, I'm not leaving home.
But that's the thing, because I remember asking Duncan, what happens to the person who is afraid? What happens to that person? I mean, they go out to, you know, for that initiation process, they go out, you're supposed to kill a lion, and when you come back to the village, you're celebrated. I think there was something we talked about earlier where you're saying if someone doesn't come back, they don't get a wife. Is that so?
Sure.
Yeah, just tell us more about that.
So when the boys go to the jungle for several times of years, so if you come back without a lion, so no, they identify you as a coward person. So you are very coward. So when you come back, no wife. Until you go back to the jungle for another several time of years, so that you can get a wife. So no lion, no wife. So every time if you go to the jungle, come back with a not lion, no wife. You go back again.
And that used to be done before. What happens now?
Nowadays we just nowadays I tell you before, no hunting of animals. So we go how many cows you have, how many wives you can marry. So if you don't have cows, no wives.
Wow.
And the Maasai are also known to have huge herds of cattle. Sometimes someone can even own up to 100 cows. How do you manage these animals and ensure that they are well fed, especially during the drought seasons?
So you know, in the Maasai we do polygamy. So polygamy, as I tell you before, one wife, one man, many wives, but many wives, one husband. So so if the husband have 10 wives, so and then have 100 cows, that goes every house have their own cows, another house have their own cows. So every house have their own tattoos or have their own marker for the ears, so that identify this one for the whole village of the family. So we make tattoos of the cows, or as the cutting of the ears for every person to identify these cows. Then husband can know every tattoos and every marker for all the family. But all the cows of the whole houses belong to one husband.
There's also something I'm very curious about, because Jerry, we know that the Maasais take their animals for hundreds and hundreds of kilometers away from their homes. I mean, you mentioned earlier, Duncan, especially now that the wildebeest are coming to Kenya, it's very dangerous for your animals, so you move them far away from home. But how do the people that are taking care of these animals in the jungle, how do they survive?
So in Maasai, we just take the cows for looking for green pastures and water. So nowadays, even now, the crossing of wildebeest is happening. So we just take the cows into the Tanzania or other places for handling the cows. So in Maasai, some group of boys go to look after the cows, then not coming back of the houses or villages. So in Maasai, we have depends on 3 important food: the milk, meat, and blood. So the people who are looking after the cows, they just drink blood, milk, and meat. So they just use 2 special woods to arrow the cow into the vein. No killing of cows so that they can get blood. We just arrow the cow into the vein. We just fetch the blood. We shake it. We use a small cow dung to close the horn. Then the cow continues surviving. Then we do not put a blood for a minute or a second or an hour. We just drink a blood directly for good proteins, because our blood is so salty. So just drink blood directly without not putting aside, not putting an hour, not putting or just away, directly. Then that's for proteins. Then boys who also looking the cows, just milking the cows for drinking the milk for breakfast and evening tea. Then meat for dinner and lunch.
But also, right now, the world has moved a bit forward, and things have changed. Even as the Maasai community, however remote the village might be, you'll still need some form of currency. How do you go about getting money, especially if you live adjacent to wild parks like the Maasai Mara? Like from your village, how do people make money?
So in our village, we do a barter trade. So in Maasai, we don't do agriculture, we do livestock keeping. So we do the keeping of cows, sheep, and goats. So if we need money, we go for a town for exchange of money and goats. So we just do barter trade. People in the town, we give their sheep, they give us money to get money to feed our children and then to go to schools. And also we depend with the clans in different countries like Spain, China, Kenya, and Spain, many other countries to come and give us some money for our children, then you take children to schools.
And also, what reaction do you get? Because from your village, we also saw a lot of foreigners are really interested in this culture. They come here particularly to see how the Maasai people live. How do you see those interactions? How would you say they react to some of these stories that you're giving us?
You know, firstly, in Maasai National Game Reserve, many clans come to see the big five. So we had another one to be the big six, the Maasais, because it's the only clan who always continue with their culture. So they come and see the big five. After the big five, they say, let's go to see the Maasai. We teach them about our culture. Then if they're happy, they give us like some donations, some everything to donate our children. Yeah.
You're undercutting me. You're undercutting me. I was already lobbying to have a big six, an animal with big five. Olomagau. I wanted Olomagau, the hippo, to be part of the big five so that they're the big six. So let's say if we had the Maasai, then now it's the big seven.
No, Amakau is not a part of a big six. Amakau is the only dangerous animals. So the big six is the Maasai. Yeah, always the big six is the Maasai.
Duncan, I'm curious to know how traditionally the Maasai would be able to predict the weather. You know, how would you be able to know it's going to rain, for example, so that you know where to take your animals?
So the Maasai will go see some clouds. When the clouds just raise from the south, they know this is drought for north. So they just transfer the cows into the south part or the east parts, just go to the small clouds. And then when they know about the times, they use a cook kitchen. The Maasai doesn't cook, eat chickens or any other frogs or fish. That they just only eat meats for cows and sheep and goats. So they use chickens for timekeepers.
You know, I had an interesting theory once, Jerry, that also the Maasais, I don't know how true it is, Duncan, but when they want to know if it's going to rain, that they would slaughter a goat and they would look at the
intestines.
Yes, the intestines, and they would see how the blood is flowing and they'd be able to tell if it's going to rain or not. Is that true?
True. So if the drought is too low, take a period of time, or for example, to say 6 months or 7 months without no raining, you just slaughter a cow or a sheep or a goat, so that you go to, if they fail, go to the left sides, then there's no rain. If the blood go to the right sides, there's rain.
Oh, that's really interesting. And what other ways do you use to, try to predict such things as rainfall patterns?
I tell you before about the clouds.
Yes.
If there's no clouds or the windy, if the wind goes so north or south, or if it come day, they just run in all everywhere. But if the wind goes to northern or southern or eastern, they run for the way the winds go.
You know, Jerry, in my culture, it's interesting when he talks about, the clouds, for example. In my culture where I come from, I remember when I was young, every time we saw the dragonflies, many of them flying, we always knew there's going to be rain very soon.
We also use when you see a sound for the frogs, there's a raining.
Okay.
Or some white birds. When it's a group of birds, it's raining.
For us, it's a bit different because we use the bird called the swallow, and sometimes the swallow would fly really low, just inches from the ground, and very fast. And it would go that way in cycles, and so many of them. And so we would read that and we would know in the next few days we're going to get some rain. And then we would also watch the cows. They would get excited. They will be running with their tails high out. And now we would know definitely the rain is coming. It's really interesting how all these cultures have some different ways of predicting some of these things.
Exactly.
So another way of knowing there's a rain coming, so the Maasai will do grazing of cows. So early in the morning, we just open the gates, then the cow, we just go to look after the cows. So if the cows going slowly, there's a raining after the day. So if the cows going faster, no rain.
That is very interesting.
That is really interesting. But I'm also very curious to know, the Maasai people are very close to gods, the Maasai gods. And that plays a huge part of your existence. So what are some of the times that the Maasais go back to their gods, to try and just link up with them?
So the Maasais go two times in a day for praying for gods, early in the morning and late in the evening. So early in the morning, the Papa is the first person to open the house or to open the gate, go for blessings. So when Papa is blessing, no one can come outside. Only him can finish their blessings after Papa. After Papa finish the blessings, then Mama can go there, milk the cow. To milk the cow, use a calabash. He use a small calabash to just draw the milk all sides of the east, west, south, and east to bless everything.
You know, I also heard, Jerry, that I think because you remember, Duncan, you told us that some Maasais came to Narok and others went to Mount Kenya.
Yeah.
And also Samburu you mentioned. And I think somebody told me that some Maasais in Samburu especially, that whenever there's drought, the women, the Maasai women, would go somewhere. They would go and sing and they would pray and then they would take milk and they would sprinkle it around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that true?
Sure.
Aha.
A group of, when it's a drought, a long period of droughts,
Yes.
so a group of ladies go to the mountains with milks and goats.
Oh,
like,
a goat?
Yeah, a goat.
Okay.
Like the way the Abraham slaughter the cow in the
yes,
fields. So
yes.
they just still believe that when the Abraham slaughter the cow to the top of the hills, also they do that. So they go to the top of the hills with some milks, water, and also goats. So after the milk first for measuring east, west, and south and north. Then after meeting, they drink water. Then they pray, they sing, they celebrate. They use a small crotons of the leaves of crotons. Olive is a special tree, so they usually use leaves, olive leaves. Then after everything, they slaughter the cow, the sheep. They put fire, no eating of anything. They just slaughter it, and then the smoke go to the up one. So they believe the smoke from the sheep go directly to the God to speak that there's raining. Let's bring rains for us.
You know, Jerry, earlier on we were told that this shawl that has wrapped around my shoulders, that for a woman it's supposed to, you know, make me decent, that I shouldn't show off your arms like you are. But I'm also enjoying the fact that it's quite hot here in the savannah and it's also covering me and protecting me from the sun.
And I burn here.
I know, every so often I have to keep wrapping myself around with it. I'm appreciating it so much.
It's interesting. One of the most colorful cultures, I think, still in existence, especially in Kenya. Of course, there are so many other cultures that are still, you know, still protect their traditions in a very strong way. But the Ma people have really managed to do that. And just before we wind up, I also just want Dan to let us know how they have allowed education into this culture, but are still using apprenticeship to continue nurturing their young. How do you find a balance between formal education and Maasai education together?
So the formal educations, the children go to schools. So the local teaching of the Maasais, we use as during the evening, we have a bonfire. So grandfather and grandmother teach us about the culture. So during the evening, we just make a bonfire. Then all children of the village surround the fire. Then grandfather and grandmother sit all in the middle to teach us about the Maasai, so that when you grow up, you know about everything about the Maasai, and you still continue with our culture.
Good stuff. Some very, very insightful conversations there with Dan, who, remember, Penina had the privilege of meeting earlier on before we even came on this set. She had the privilege to tour Dan's home and the village, met the clan elders, met the women. Indeed. You had some interesting time even dancing with them.
Yeah, it was actually very beautiful. And I noticed that song and dance is also very important in the Maasai community. They will sing songs and dance when they're going to war, or at least they would do that before. They will sing song, they will dance also when they're welcoming visitors and also when they're sending them away with blessings.
And yes, that also just blends into that rich culture that we have been speaking about. And we're also just trying to see how then that plays into the protection of the wildlife that they have been living for centuries alongside. And we have had a very lucky final day. Right behind us, we have the Olomagao. We are still trying to campaign for them to get into the Big Six. We have also had a chance, of course, our cameras capturing some of the greatest spectacle of the Great Migration, which is the wildebeest crossing the Mara River. I think that is what interests most people. And I think it is very important that the Ma people, also joined by other communities, can be able to make sure that this heritage is in existence for the future generations.
Yeah, and I think for me, one of the most important things I have noticed about how they go about, you know, this preservation is they attach symbolism to these animals. You know, when Dan talked about the elephant being seen as holy, there's some clans that will look at the hyena, for example. A hyena is an animal that non-Muslim people love, but for them it's a holy animal, you know, they will not touch it. The pangolin, you know, somebody mentioned that also the pangolin, if you see it, for them they believe it's a symbol of good luck. And remember, Jerry, pangolins are endangered, you know, so I think some of these things do contribute towards the preservation of this endangered species and also the larger, you know, wildlife as we know it. Yeah.
Yes, so we want to first of all just thank you as we wind up. Thank each and every one of you who's been tuned in since day one, that is Friday, catching all the action that we have been bringing to you from here in the Maasai Mara National Reserve, from Samburu National Park, as well as Amboseli National Reserve. We know you have caught some very good images of the animals here. The big five, as Dan was mentioning earlier. You have also been able to see some footage of birds. You know, there are some people who just come to Kenya, to these different parks, just to watch the birds. And Kenya is blessed with so many of them. In total, Kenya has more than 30,000 different species of mammals, birds, and marine wildlife. And these are some of the things that make this country really, really rich in wildlife heritage. We do hope that some of the conversations that we have been having here have shed some light to some of the questions that you have been having. Particularly here, even sitting on set, have been able to grasp a lot of information that I didn't have in terms of the wildlife, in terms of the Ma culture, in terms of all these things that exist around us. So as we wrap up, what has been your favorite moment of this broadcast?
Oh, wow. My favorite moment has been, I guess, the knowledge that I've gained, you know. The wildlife, I can say, contributes, but for me, the highlight for me has been just the knowledge about the culture, about the various conservation efforts and the animals as well. Some interesting tidbits that, you know, for animals, we'll see that, like the wildebeest, we see them every other year, but a lot of knowledge and information about them that I didn't know. So that, for me, was a highlight. The second highlight for me was my new name. Nashipai. So
Nashipai.
now do not call me Penina, I am Nashipai.
So by Nashipai.
So Baoleng.
So much to talk about, of course, but I think veering out of the wildlife, I think my favorite moment was the village, the experience, and of course the dances. I don't think you should walk out of this set before showing us what the ladies taught you. I don't think it would be fair to our listeners here, to the people who are watching us, if you're not able to even give us one song. I took the beats where the men were saying, you know, for the men it's so easy. You know how even in the culture you are saying the women do most of the work?
Yes.
Even in the songs it's just
Now this is for me. The women will just do this and the men are going to just jump high. And you know, Jerry, the higher you jump, the more you attract a lady if you want to marry. So you better practice those moves.
So, but even if I get the moves, I will still need a lot of cows.
Oh, yes.
Remember, it's at least 10 cows. And that's not a small investment.
Lucky for you, you don't have to kill a lion.
Or go into the bush for years and years.
Indeed. It's been a pleasure being in your company for the last 3 days. Thank you so much for allowing us to indulge you in this beautiful experience of the live safari from the Maasai Mara National Reserve, Amboseli National Park, Samburu National Park, and Lake Bogoria. I am Penina Nashipai Karibe.
And I am Jerry Leshan Owili. Thank you once again.
Kenya is home to some of nature's best renowned wildlife habitats. Boasting a rich listing of flora and fauna, these national game parks and reserves offer some of the most intriguing spectacles of the wild. But in the jungle, all lives have one common mission: survival. From July 25th to 27th, CGTN turns its focus to the raw and unforgiving wild habitats across Kenya.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to CGTN's special live streaming program, The Hype, where minds collide and ideas amplified. I'm your host, Zhang Zhenni, coming to you live from China's capital, Beijing City. Well, from July to September each year, millions of grazing wild animals gathered and form a mighty migratory army. 2 days ago, we started our journey with them in this vast African savanna. And today, this journey continues. Well, before we start, please allow me to let our guests introduce themselves. How about introduce yourself to our audience, please?
Oh, thank you very much. I am Beatrice Benjamin Fraeli, an assistant lecturer from the College of African Wildlife Management. The college, which is a professional in research, training, and consultants on wildlife management and tourism. At the same time, I'm a PhD student in animal ecology at Northeast Forestry University, China. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hi everyone, I'm from Tsinghua University and I'm the assistant professor at the Institute for International Area Studies, and I focus more on the sub-Saharan areas to see the economic development and to see the informal economy, etc. And very happy to be here and see you again.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitations again. I mean, I definitely enjoyed our conversations yesterday, and I'm sure today is going to be just as marvelous as yesterday, as before. Well, for our viewers, you can watch this episode on many social media platforms, including CGTN's Facebook, YouTube, X, Chinese WeChat, Weibo, as well as CGTN official website and app. And please, you're more than welcome to leave comments below. Let us know if you have any questions about this migration, about any animal that you particularly want to know more, and or just simply let us know how you feel. Well, yesterday, with the company of wildebeests and zebras and gazelles, we stepped into Maasai community. We were captivated by their vibrant traditions and the delicate dance between conservation and development. And also we learned more about Africa, knowing that this is such a vast continent with so many diverse cultures from so many different countries. And today, we are going to explore more. We're going to learn how young people is reshaping our world, and also learn what kind of wisdom can China and Africa offer to the world. Well, without further ado, let our journey start right now.
Okay.
So during the past 2 days, I started to feel that I get closer to those wild animals. You know, I mean, those, for example, wildebeests and zebras, they aren't a blur to me anymore. I mean, seeing a calf nuzzle its mother, seeing those zebras sweeping tails at these flies just made me feel that all life is interconnected. All life beats to the same rhythm. So my question for you first is, Beatrice, you've been interacting with animals for so many years.
Yeah,
is there
exactly.
any moment or story that struck you so much or impressed you so much?
Yeah, thank you very much. I would talk of one thing that I noted very impressive, and it was the time I was in the field in Ruaha National Park, and there was a clan of African elephant, the savanna elephants. They were crossing the Ruaha River, and it was a dry season, so there was no water. We could not see water in the river, but it was fascinating that I saw one of the elephant digging down, and then they started drinking from that particular hole. So it was really surprising. So the rest could drink, and I stayed there for some time, and I saw some other animals coming and also drinking from that kind of a hole. So that really makes so fascinating to my understanding. And I proved the fact that they say African elephants are ecosystem engineers, that they can create, they can modify the habitat, make it suitable for other animals also to use. Yes, that's something interesting to me.
Wow. I mean, the story of animals always tug my heartstrings. But if you allow me to ask a more realistic question, my question for you, Mr. Yan, is that, you know, the migration is basically, for Chinese, is half a world away from us. How do those migration matter to us?
Okay, migration for us, you mean it's distant, right? And far away from another world. But, you know, the migration is about the survival logistic, not for the animals, but also for human beings. And, you know, the modern urban life is fast and tempered. And I think this really does of seasonal things. So you can see, we wake up every day by the daily alarm clocks, and rarely awake by a gust of wind, the storm, the lightning. And I think I will use 3 words to describe this phenomenon, which is interconnection, interaction, and interdependence. So, which means we are interconnected in the ecosystem globally, and the ecology is a link to interconnect every single element in the nature. And for example, the deforestation in South Asia can shift the East African's rim belt. As for me, there were moments that when I saw the animal migration in Serengeti, which is the wild beast, they waited for several hours and they hesitated to jump into the river.
They
And
should
finally,
be vigilant.
yes, it's very unpredictable for me. They just suddenly leapt into the river and crossed it.
Yeah.
I think that's the chance for the animals to see how we can survive. But also in this modern society, for every single individual, I think we still need opportunities to know the far or distant world. Also, can we explain this idea and can we expand this concept a little bit further? So migration is a symbol for me as the global source. So we need to understand more about the global source countries, not source, sorry, for the global south countries. And then we need to know each other, understand each other, and I think I want to borrow a line from Chinese Asian poetry to express this feeling about interconnection, interaction, and the interdependence, and which is the waters far, mountains high, we are living under the same sky. So in Chinese, in Mandarin, it is 山川异域，风月同天. Okay, thank you.
That's very well said. I really love how you sum up your answer by saying these three words:
interconnection, interdependence, and interaction.
Wow, that's really good sum up. Yeah. And I think also it's very important for us living in this concrete jungle to still remember to listen to the heartbeat of the nature.
Sure.
Well, now I'm gonna give you a little test since you both been to the Africa and I really envy you.
Yeah.
Well, can you, both of you share a little known fact of the animal, of whatever animal you would like to share with us?
Okay.
We'll start from you, Beatrice.
Oh, sure. Yeah, for me, one fact is, I'll take it from, I have several, but today I'll take from African savanna elephant. They're quite unique. Many things that we can learn from them, from the kind of leadership, the way they live in matriarch kind of system, organized or led by the oldest female, but also from the fact that males will stay far away from these females. They'll only be together when it's mating or it's breeding period. But the fact that is so interesting is that they can use their tools to sense vibration of water within the ground. But at the same time, they can sense water from a distance. At the same time, they can sense thunderstorms by using their feet. So it's quite interesting that nature has favored them to have these unique skills. They can sense the sounds that human beings cannot hear by using their feet, their flat feet. And this kind of sound at a very low frequency that we cannot hear, but they can sense. At least the same, they can sense where others are by using the sounds between these clan members. So to me, it's a fact that a tool can sense where water is, can save life. Thank you.
What about you?
Well, I'm not as a professional at Beatrice, but I can share one tip about zebra. I learned this from the safari guide when I was in Mauritius and in South Africa. I know, the black and the white stripes.
Yeah, stripes.
Stripes of zebra. These stripes can help the zebra to disrupt the insect landing.
Exactly, biting flies.
Yes, and then can deter the biting flies.
Exactly.
Wow,
yeah.
that's something new to me.
Yes.
Well, I think just what I realize is just as fascinating as this intriguing knowledge that you guys share with us is that, you know, our understanding about those animal behaviors nowadays comes from generations of dedicated research made by, you know, for example, zoologists or ecologists and etc. Beatrice, I know your expertise lies in animal management and also animal ecology. Can you tell us more about this field? What are those ecology?
Animal management? Oh, yeah, animal management. For my case, I will specific consider wildlife management. Leave aside the domesticated animals. Now, wildlife management is most of the time used interchangeably with wildlife conservation. And these two terms, wildlife management, you can say, is a science but also an art or a practice in which we manage wild animals' population but also their habitat in order to attain goals. Could be socially, ecologically, or economically. So wildlife management or wildlife conservation is so broad. There are many components within it. So like if species are declining and we do captive breeding, that's one aspect. Translocation, moving animals from one part to another, or reintroduction, where species have been there, the population is not enough, or for some ecological functions, we need some species. When we move it in reintroduction and translocation is a part of wildlife management. But if we manage wildlife diseases, we are doing wildlife management. But the anti-poaching patrols is a part of it. But population monitoring, knowing the density of the wild animals is a part of it. But understanding the genetic viability of the population is also one aspect of it. So, but also managing the interaction now between these wild animals and the human beings, understanding their behavior, the population structures. We need both males, females, and offsprings to understand whether the population is growing or not. So I would say wildlife management is a very broad thing, and if someone knows or have the knowledge of wildlife management or wildlife conservation, has several aspects that need to work together in promoting wildlife population, but also the habitat. And I didn't even mention about the habitat, that we also need to take care of the habitat so as to manage wildlife. So like in savanna, sometimes we are forced to do prescribed burning. That's very important because when the habitat is in good condition, then also wildlife will survive. So it's many things, including provisioning of water in the habitat. So that's in nutshell of what wildlife management or wildlife conservation is, but it's more than that.
Wow. According to what you're telling us, I think just like you said, wildlife management really covers a very large range of areas and knowledges. And now you've studied in China, right? What have brought you to China? I mean, you crossed basically a huge continent to China. What brought you here?
Oh, thank you very much. China and Africa have very strong ties. Currently, there are many projects that are in Africa, but also in China, and there is these international cooperations between these two countries. I mean, of course, for Africa, it's a continent, and China is a country, but there are so many things going on. So Africans are aware of China and the situation, technological advancement, but also the quality education. So we are so informed, and that makes inspiration to my life. And I remember it was 2017. I was reading something. It was one article about ecological restoration in Loess Plateau, which is in China. So upon reading that article, I noted that there was, in fact it is there, a big project about restoration of degraded land. And that land was restored. It was as a farm and turned into a grassland and forest. And then they tried to do assessment of how it is helping against carbon emission. And there were statistics of that restoration worked very successful. So that publication, together with other information from publication, from literature, makes me think of one day being in China. Yeah. Wow. So, and it's good. I've been here in China. I've interacted with Chinese people in our laboratory, but also in where we are living. I've known a lot of things from China, their culture, the calligraphy, the Chinese festivals, the Chinese tea, and many other things, including the paper cutting, the shadow play. I've been into many aspects of Chinese culture. I've learned so many things, and I'm so inspired. But at the end, I feel like, China is good. And the Chinese people are incredibly kind, and they're so welcoming. And that makes me to be really happy being in China. I'm not regretting.
Well, I have to say China welcomes people from all of the world here to actually come here to see the real, authentic, and beautiful China. Well, as we can see here from the screen, that the wildebeest is actually crossing river right now. Is that Mara River?
Yes, it is.
It's just tell us more about?
Yeah. That's just one point of the migration, as I said previously, that there are several points in which these wildebeest are using to cross, more than 10 points, and this is just one of it. Now, they are moving from the Tanzanian side going to the Mara, Maasai Mara nature reserves in Kenya. So every year that is a phenomenon naturally that they'll be going so as to get food. That means they're going there where they'll get grasses, but also they'll get water. Yeah, so they have made calculations that they should not stay and starve, but rather they should go look for food. So that's what is going on. Despite the challenges, there could be crocodiles in there. Sometimes it's deep, sometimes the river banks are high, but they must go. That is a continuous plan every year. Like you see, it's not easy, but they are doing so, all together with the zebra. Yeah, quite interesting.
Yeah, I saw some zebras.
Yes, they're there.
Well, this zebra also cross Mara River once they reach the bank of near the...
Yes, they will cross.
All of them?
Yes, they go together. Not all of them.
Okay.
Now, once they reach at the northern part, some tend to remain there. Some crosses. We have seen this, yes. And others will go to the Loliondo side of Tanzania as well. But majority goes to the Mara Nature Reserve.
We can see that's a very, very long line.
Yes.
Can you give us an estimated number, like how many wildebeest are there? Is it?
The estimated, according to census, is around 1.5 million of wildebeest and hundreds of thousands of zebra and gazelles. Unfortunately, we are not lucky enough to see gazelles, but they have been noted to cross as well.
So the gazelles will also cross the river?
Yes, but very rare encounter. But they do.
It's difficult to actually witness.
Yes. Like we saw in the film, we only see the wildebeest and zebra. Yeah, but also we could be lucky enough to see the gazelles. Yeah.
Can you give us more about how do they determine the order when they who's going to be the front one to the vanguard of the wildebeest? How do they arrange this order for wildebeest to cross the river?
This is more of experience. Yeah, the very old and experienced one, which are like pathfinders, are the ones who mostly lead. But we have noted that sometimes even the inexperienced but strong enough and those with are courageous. Courage is very important. They have seen limping into Mara River and crossing. You know, in wildebeest, leadership is not that strong like in other animals.
Like hyenas.
Yeah. But they organize themselves using chemicals and glands from chemicals from the glands in these animals. Yes.
When they're crossing the river, what kind of challenges they might be facing?
So yeah, there are many challenges. You know, like in that river, just crossing these river banks is not something smooth. So sometimes they step and they break their legs. And you know, any injury in nature, it will ultimately end into death.
Penalty.
Yes, because there'll be easier prey for any carnivore. But at the same time, you know, there are crocodiles. Like we can see, one is not moving. Yes, it is possible. Something is happening. So prey-predator interaction is seen in this lake. But they are going. Yes, there are crocodiles there.
Is the crocodile waiting to hunt right now?
Yes, they are. Yeah, now they are relaxed that food has arrived. Yeah, but another challenge is the water current itself. For the young ones, sometimes they are drowned, and they fall as a prey for the carnivores.
Is the Mara River deep?
Yes, it is. Oh. Yeah, in some places it is very deep. Yeah,
well,
but it's not uniform.
I really envy those cars, you know, nearby the bank. They can witness this thing firsthand. Wow. Well, we're gonna, as the wildebeests are crossing the river, which we cheer for them, let's continue our discussion.
Okay.
Well, I know, Mr. Yang, you are an assistant researcher at Tsinghua University Institute of International and Regional Studies, and you also conducted some academic visits to some universities in, for example, South Africa, Uganda, some other African nations. I'd like to ask you, from your observations, what's the current state of the cooperation between Chinese and African universities?
Okay, I think the status quo is quite well, and for example, from our PhD program at IAS, the Institute for International Area Studies, we ask our students, I mean PhD students, to spend at least 2 years in their target countries for their fieldwork studies.
Oh.
The reason is very simple and easy. You must experience, the witness, and see a natural cycle of the year, from spring to autumn, from the summer to winter, or in Africa, especially in East Africa countries. You need to see at least from the west to the dry seasons to rainy seasons, and then begin again from the beginning. So based on this, we have already sent more than 80 students, PhD students in different countries, and we got at least 18 students in different Africa countries. And as they told me, there are a lot of opportunities for cooperation, and some of the projects has already been on the process. So also another example from my university, Tsinghua, we have a summer holiday program. We send different small groups to different countries. And when I see the application and the submission form, at least, for me, at least 1/5 groups, I mean the research groups, spend at least 12 to 40 or 20 days in that country to do some fieldwork research. They choose to go to Africa, and there is at least 3 or 5 projects about that. I mean, the team projects is talking about the environmental protection, the clean energy, the hydropower, these kind of things.
Wow.
So I think during this period, the cooperation and collaboration between China and different Africa countries has been on the way. And for myself, we signed the MOU with the University of Rwanda, and we set up our first Africa fieldwork station in Kigali, so to see more possibilities in the future. Yeah.
Wow, That's very good to hear. There's so many opportunities and collaborations. And if I may be more specific, what is the collaborative potential for Chinese and African universities in the field of green development?
Okay, the first I think should be the universities and the research institutes, because I think they are the hubs for cultivating the talents doing this, and then they are the platforms for further and better cooperation in the future. And then for the local African universities and research institutes, I think each of these research institutes and universities have already accumulated a large amount of indigenous knowledge about the local community and the environment and the nature. But I still see some limitation about their research capacity because of the funding or the facilities or etc. And then for China's universities and research institutes, I think we can provide, based on what we've learned from our past experience in the past decade, we can provide some lessons, no matter the successful lessons or failure lessons, to Africa countries or to our friends, and then we can share our information. And also, I think the Chinese universities are quite good at the, for example, the policy modeling, to develop some policy tools, or to see some civil engineering or environmental engineering, or even the clean energy technologies, these kind of things. So for how we can cooperate, for example, we have some joint research programs. Also, we can develop some curriculum to different level of students. For example, the Africa environment history for maybe for the undergraduate level students, or then maybe some higher courses, research methodologies, etc., for higher level postdocs, or they mean the PhD students or the postgraduate students. And then we can have some joint research programs, and then we can have some, the more activities or exchange programs between different universities and institutes. However, I should say that when we are doing this for our Chinese universities, we will try every single effort to avoid the knowledge colonialism. We should put the African agenda first and show our strong respect to Africa countries and, to our friends.
Wow.
Yes, that's what I think.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, and that's very informative and very deep insights from you. And I think universities definitely plant the seeds, but the forest grows based on youth power. So, Beatrice, from your observation, how are African youth, African young people, how do they participate in wildlife protection or green development?
Sure. African youth are very vital in conservation, and they're playing a very big role in conservation initiatives, because currently universities and academic institutions, these youth are doing research, they're doing publications, they're bringing up new knowledge, and they're becoming innovative enough using technology like smart or range kind of tools that can assist in conservation, for example, in assessing the population status of resources. But youth, again, are taking advantage of media, TikTok and others, Facebook, Insta, all these social media. Youth are very active in this, in doing campaigns against threats in conservation, for example, the pollution, climate change, and all those conservation threats. But youth are also at the forefront in ecotourism activities. They have employed themselves in handicraft. They are the tour guides. They are in the all aspects of tourism, youth are in there. So I can say it's many aspects that we mention youth as an important aspect. And the good thing is that even the Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism is also using the youth, for example, through Malhai clubs, trying to empower them with education to raise awareness about conservation, and they participate in our afforestation projects. But we have even private sectors using our youth also to do something in conservation. For example, the shoot and roots is owned by a private sector, but it's using youth in conservation. So youth have been so innovative, and they're playing a key role in conservation in Tanzania. Yes, I'll just...
Thank you for sharing this. Well, I also like to share a figure, which is 600 million. You know, in China, recent years, if you conduct any environmental friendly behavior, for example, if I choose to go green transportation, if I reduce my use of plastics, I can gather some green energy on some social media platforms, and those energy are used to build actual trees in real life. And so far, this project has built 600 million trees in China in real life.
My energy is being stolen every day.
Yeah, that's me too. I insist on doing this every day. I'm getting addicted to this. But what attracts me also is that seeing these digital tools are used and so important in terms of raising the awareness for younger people's awareness in green behavior, eco-friendly behavior, etc. So my question for you, Mr. Yang, is that in your opinion, how can education and those digital tools, digital platforms, social media, etc., how can those affect young people's green awareness?
Okay, let's start from primary education. As I know, some countries, including Tanzania, have already introduced the environmental protection ideas and some classes or courses
studies,
into the no matter the curriculum and no matter about the language course or the STEAM course, and also Rwanda did the same thing. So I think from the children, from the kids, they try to improve the awareness of environmental protection. So by countries, this is a country or the government actions. And then for you mentioned, I think the youngsters or the younger generation's voices can be amplified on different channels or on different media platforms. For example, if you search some keywords like the environmental protection on YouTube, you will see thousands of videos. If you choose the region, if you select the region label, and you see the sub-Saharan areas or the Africa, you can see thousands of video clips were uploaded to try to raise people, public's awareness to protect the environment because of the environmental deterioration situation.
Yeah, it's a global thing.
Yes, and then for the tools we can use, for example, we can use some the data sharing system or information updating system to monitor the environmental deterioration index. For example, the rainfall, the land usage, or like the migration. So to see the latest and updated data and statistics and the figures to see what happened and how it will be going on. So then, no matter what we did and what we are doing from the primary education to the higher level education, I think the concept of the environmental protection must come across the whole period for the long life education. So also you can see a lot of video clips on TikTok, on Instagram, and the Facebook, the X, and the previous Twitter, and even some local Africa apps. Yes, they ask people to try to protect the environment. Yeah, that's what I said. What I saw in Africa. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you've seen in Africa. And also, Beatrice, my question for you is that you've been in China for a year and a half now. And recent years, China been putting so much efforts in biodiversity conservation and also ecological construction, civilization construction, etc. Is there any result or any example that struck you the most or give you a very good impression particularly?
Yeah, exactly. One of a striking project in China, which I'm so much inspired by, is the Grain to Green program of 1990s. But its outcome is really huge. It is a restoration project, and in this restoration project, it involved restoration of degraded land into forestry and grassland in different plateaus in China. And it is said to be among the world's largest restoration projects. So that's one, Grain to Green project. And the other one which inspires me mostly is the establishment of the giant panda national park. Yeah, that I really feel, wow, this is interesting, it's amazing that these species were endangered, but now the IUCN has recategorized them as vulnerable. They are no longer endangered. So what the Chinese government did was to make sure that the habitat for giant panda is restored, connecting the corridors, ensuring that there is no more fragmentation of the habitat, but also restoration of their food, the bamboo, but also doing the captive breeding so as to make sure that they can reinforce the small population into a viable population. So when I think of these two projects, I'm so much inspired. I can say congratulations to the government. And I've seen there are so many other projects that has to do with conservation. Yeah.
Well, if we're talking about those achievements made by Chinese government, I think behind those achievements lies a very important philosophy or idea, I would say, which is very famous and popular among Chinese people, which is, we call it 绿水青山就是金山银山 in Chinese. In English, that's lucid waters and lush mountains are invaluable assets. So my question for you is, Mr. Yang, during your experience in Africa, do they have some similar local philosophy that's like similar to this concept?
Okay, I'll tell some and then
we just can
add some more details. So there is, in many African culture, I mean not all Africa, in many, as I know, in many African countries' culture, they see the nature is a secret, not a resource. And for Maasai, for example, they think that human and nature cannot be separated.
Yeah.
So they are integrated. And then for some, they consider the forest is an ancestral domain. So it's quite similar to the two mountains concept in China. But both of these ideologies and the philosophies reflect one true opinion, which is that we need to consider more about the environment and nature instead of trying to master the nature. So we are just one subject under the whole natural reasoning system, but we are not the masters. Yes.
That's very well said. Beatrice, have you heard about this idea before?
Yeah. I know one. It's a South African philosophy. They call it Ubuntu philosophy, which emphasizes harmony between people and nature. But in Tanzania, in Swahili, we have so many phrases that are emphasizing conservation.
Wow.
Yeah, we say maji ni uhai,
Maji ni
meaning
uhai.
that water is life.
Wow.
We need water so as to survive. You can see it relates to the lush mountain and lucid water. But The Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism, for example, has a statement saying, "Tumerithishwa, tuwarithishe." We have inherited these resources, biodiversity. We should as well make sure that other generation also enjoys this. So we have so many of these kind of phrases that are emphasizing nature. And, you know, Africans traditionally, historically, used to protect nature.
Yes.
There are places, there are mountains, rivers, lakes, some habitats, even which were protected by our forefathers. They were called the sacred sites, where they are protected. No one is allowed to go there. Like nowadays we have national parks, but our grandparents used to have these sites. So there are places probably I wouldn't go. Yeah, because culturally it is protected. So Africans had their own ways of protecting biological resources. The river, like Mount Kilimanjaro, it used to be called the Mlima wa Mungwe, Kilema Kyaro, a mountain of God, or Oldonyo Lengai is a mountain of God in Maasai culture. Kilimanjaro, in the Chaga people, they take it as a mountain of God. So it was sacred. They respect the mountain. They respect the water bodies. So, yeah,
Yes.
that's what I would add.
For me, the African people really have their own,
Even some
way.
plants, some trees.
Yes.
Their trees were not allowed to touch.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
They have their own belief, and they really have their own way to have the mutual understanding between them and the nature. Yes.
Well, that's very well said. Even though we share different languages, different cultures, but in terms of when we talk about protecting the nature, I think we all have the same goal, which is to save this planet, leave it to our younger generation.
Yeah, sure. So, Jen, even animals, some clans are named according to animals, paying special respect to these animals. So, in Tanzania, in the southern part of the country, there are people called Njovu. Njovu is actually in Swahili similar to elephant.
Okay.
So that clan, they pay so much respect to that particular animal. You'll find another one called Simba. Simba is a lion.
Yes.
Yeah, so they used to respect that animal or that resource. So there are different ways that Africans, they were doing in conservation, and that's ongoing because these clans are there. Yeah.
Wow, thank you for sharing this with us. And Mr. Yan, during your stay in Africa, you know, China recent year has been made so much investments in Africa. And during your stay there, is there any investments that impressed you a lot? And is there any investments that can achieve, let's say, ecologically and economically win-win outcomes?
Okay, give me 1 second. Because there are some cases, but because Beatrice is from Tanzania, I will use a Tanzania case.
Okay.
So you know, there is we have a state-owned company called the CRCC, the Chinese Railway Corporation Limited. So they have several projects. Not only in Zanzibar, also in Serengeti. So they undertook the hotel construction projects. So in Serengeti, because you know the local authorities and the local communities, you must obey their rules, or and you cannot deteriorate the local environment or culture, or even you cannot touch this plant or this tree, and instead of tree another site to build up the hotel, right? So one thing I can remember is that they use the local on-site rocks and stones to do the exterior decoration on the wall instead of using the modern materials like the which one I use which one, the concrete or something else? Yeah. Yes, and then when they are doing the planning for construction and then for the following construction process, they try to purchase the environmentally friendly raw materials at one time instead of buying several times, because the transportation, you know, the round and around and the
I would add something.
Yes.
In construction, if we are to do something in a national park, it is mandatory that materials that are used should be from that place.
Yes.
To avoid moving, let's say, invasive species, because you are likely to bring something new into the national park. But whichever material should not change the environment or the nature of the place. So using the stones, for example, to ensure that nature is maintained.
They just use the
everything
original one.
should be natural. We don't bring something new into the national park because we'll change everything, we'll bring pollution. You know, there is visual pollution for wild animals.
We are preserved.
Yeah, so it's so much of conservation.
Also,
there are strict rules, and there must be environmental impact assessment to make sure that no species will be in trouble out of that particular project.
Yes, so that's really impressed me. And then they try to protect the local vegetations as well. And they told me, so because they did very good preparation for the transportation, they just reduced the rounds of transportation to a very small number. Try to minimize.
There are problems of invasive species, which is a global problem. But also pollution. It's not necessarily the noise, but there is visual. You can really destroy movement of animals. Think of insects, for example, because of different colors in a protected area. So there should be so much precaution on what project.
Yes, and then another case is from the CRCC in Zanzibar. They also undertook several projects about the hotel construction. And the thing is, first, I think this company is very good because they have strong corporate social responsibilities. They started the activity called the beach clean up. So this activity involved both the local staff and the Chinese staff and the tourists and the local people to clean the beach, regularly. So this is very good. Also, they use some the environment-friendly materials, such as the wooden materials, to build up the project and to reduce the pollution, etc.
I think examples like this go on and on.
Yes.
Well, over the past 5 years, Chinese enterprises' direct investments in Africa actually has exceeded over $3 billion each year. That's very huge amount of money, and the areas that covered actually covers a very large range. For example, there is agricultural, there's infrastructure, there were digital platforms, etc. However, some accusations never stops from some Western medias. Even, let's say, green development, even in this area, there are some people saying that China is doing this ecological colonialism. So what's your take on this?
Okay, first, if we are talking about the colonialism, for me, colonialism for the West countries is about control. And for us, for China, because based on our two mountains concept, we really want to have some sustainable development. And this can be seen from our previous cases from the CRCC, right? And although there are sometimes we got some ignorance, but we still try to do this better. Also, for the cooperation model, for colonialism, you can't say any cooperation or collaboration instead of extraction in the past hundreds of years. And they focus on how much we can get, which means the outcomes, but largely ignored the local consequences. So as you can tell, for me, the ecological colonialism is a political label, but not the factual description for what China did in Africa. And also, we need to go back to yesterday's talk. If you really want to know something about what happened in Africa, go and say it and then say it out. Yes.
That's very well said. Well, in terms of this great migration and ecological development, we actually have a short video that's from the Executive Director of the United Nations Human Settlements Program. Let's hear what she has to say, what she wants to share with us. Let's take a look.
Dear viewers, I am Ana Claudia Rosba, Executive Director of UN Habitat. It's an honor to join CMG Africa's spectacular live broadcast of the great wildebeest migration in Maasai Mara, testament to the wonders of our planet. This migration is not just a natural phenomenon, but a vital thread in the web of life. It reminds us that balancing human progress with ecological preservation is key to a sustainable future. UN Habitat champions this harmony in urban and rural development. CMG Africa's pioneering broadcasts, now for 2 consecutive years, play a crucial role. They connect global audiences to Africa's biodiversity, inspiring collective action for conservation. We applaud CMG Africa for leveraging media innovation to showcase nature's marvels. Such efforts raise awareness, promote ecotourism, and empower local communities. UN Habitat stands ready to collaborate in safeguarding habitats and advancing green, inclusive development. Wishing this year's broadcast great success. May this journey of life renew our commitment to a shared planet where humanity and nature thrive together. Thank you.
Well, thank you. That's very well said. And I have a very important question I want to ask both of you. You know, there's a framework called Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, which proposed a common but differentiated responsibilities. So my question for you guys is that how can global community propose a new collaborative paradigm that can both protect national agency while also integrating different funds, technology, and knowledge from all of the world? How can we achieve that to better protect Africa's ecological development? Maybe start from you.
From you?
Beatrice?
Okay. Yeah, Kunming Montreal Biodiversity, Global Biodiversity Framework is very important because it emphasizes on curbing biodiversity loss, but also ensuring harmony between people and nature. Now, for countries, because there are several countries, including Tanzania, that have signed that framework, one approach which is recommended so as to attain common objective with different responsibilities is the adoption or domestication of strategies within countries. That was a very important aspect because remember, like Africa is a continent, it's big, it's diverse, so there should be adoption of approaches that are environmentally friendly, that have a benefit to the world. And one way of doing this is by supporting each other in green infrastructures, for example, getting support also in education, knowledge exchange, and also technology, particularly in universities, for example. If we can support each other, doing research, innovation in how we can protect the environment, recycling, for example. If there could be support for adaptive tools, let's say the use of AI in ant poaching, for example, or AI in assisting population monitoring. AI, I mean artificial intelligence, or maybe application of technologies like drones. If we can have shared platforms, then we can all work together. But there are many other things that these countries can assist each other, like supporting sustainable development projects, the projects that at the end attains development but also protect nature. So if there is any kind of support in terms of finance, in terms of technology, I hope we can all achieve a common goal, though with different responsibilities. So I think that should go hand in hand with supporting African initiatives. There is one African agenda, the 2063 agenda, which if supported, for example, that's originating from Africans themselves, from the African Union. So it has targets that works on enhancing education, enhancing health, security systems, gender equity, and many other aspects, having a sustainable development for the continent. So if we can support such agenda, for example, we will all move in the same line and attain Humane Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. That's what I think.
Thank you. What about you, Mr. Yan?
And the framework is good, and followed by you. I think first, we need to make sure Africa's leadership.
Yeah, should be African-led.
Yes, and we can both be the participants, but participants are not dominant.
Partnership.
Yes,
Should
it's
be
about
partnership. Yes.
We cannot dominate that.
Exactly.
So mutual understanding, mutual trusting, and mutual dependence are the keystones for our future development and cooperation. Second, I think we should make the global resources really match the local needs. For example, we need to make sure the fundings can really touch the need of the local community instead of staying it as paperwork. And then for my last point of view about this, let's get back to the three keywords at the very beginning of today's discussion is interconnection, interaction, interdependence. So which means we need to, really enhance of mutual understanding to see the differences and diversities between cultures. And then I want to use another line from another Chinese Asian poetry to end my discussion with you today. Is that a range of green hills, shells, cloud, and rain, and the bright moon never knows two different lands. So in Chinese, which is 青山一道同云雨，明月何曾是两乡.
Wow.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Maybe I can add something very little.
Sure.
That technology sharing, when that is done, we should make sure that it is locally operational. Yeah, and should have African ownership.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you both for such informative and deep insights and opinions shared with us. I'm sure a lot of our viewers share the same feeling. Let's take a look. Well, we have a viewer from WeChat saying that, wow, it's really tough for wildebeests and zebras because they have ambush in the front and they have the army tracking them down from behind. Yeah. Is that true? Do you agree?
Yes, it's true. It's complicated because a stampede tend to injure and even can be lethal to wildebeest. Remember, is more than 1 million of animals trying to cross, though they segment into different populations, but still there are many, like we saw in the film. So it's the army behind, and they must go because they cannot stay and wait to starve. Nature does not teach us like that. But again, they are going to the crocodiles, they are going to the water. They need endurance, they need strength, they have to cross, yeah, regardless of whatever challenges. Ultimately, animals must survive. They need to survive. They must get food. Yeah.
That's very well said. And we have a viewer from Facebook, Alan Peters, saying that African legacy safaris, this is beautiful. I think we all agree that this is definitely beautiful. And we have another viewer from Facebook, it's Somonia Singh, is asking how many of them wildebeest. I mean, we've already answered this, but maybe you can tell us again.
Yeah, approximately 1.5 million of the wildebeest and hundreds of thousands of zebra. We mention hundreds of thousands because it's approximation. Could be 700 or less than that, yeah.
Well, and we have another one which is very, very interesting, I would say. People are saying, how about building a bridge to those animals? What's your take on this?
Oh, that's very interesting. But in conservation, we always let nature take its own course. We say harmony with nature. We try not to interfere anything. So building a bridge will really change everything. Maybe we'll have to feed the crocodiles. Maybe we'll have to teach the wildebeest and zebra to use it's impossible. We don't wish to do so. Yeah. We let nature take its own course.
Yeah,
this is fascinating because it is natural. Yeah.
But we can bridge between different cultures and our hearts between China and Africa.
Well said. That's very well said.
Sure.
Don't build actual bridge in savannah, but build bridge
in culture.
Yeah, in culture.
Wow. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mr. Yang, Beatrice, for your absolutely amazing sharing with us today. I definitely learned so much during our talk past 2 days. I get so closer to the wild animals. I know so much about their habitats. I think I even found crocodiles become a little bit cute. We started savannah, this migration before. And also I learned so much from you guys about this cooperation between China and Africa, and also about the Maasai culture, and also about what young people can do to make a better world. Yeah. Well, over the past 3 days, I would say, we smelled the fragrance of this green grass in this Maasai Mara National Reserve. And we also witnessed this cheer for those wildebeest as they're crossing the Mara River. And we also learned about how Maasai people are adapting to the modern world with the company of their songs, of their dances, of their high jumps. And we also see a promising future between China and Africa in terms of green development and even to the world. Well, I think even happy hours always fly so fast. I hate this to end, but during this migration, I feel nothing but deeply grateful for our Mother Nature, and I hope our viewers enjoyed our 3-day program as much as I did. Well, even though our roundtable discussion is coming to the end, please don't go away and stay with us because we prepared 1 hour live signal from Maasai Mara National Reserve for you. Well, I think that's all for our show today. How about let's say bye-bye to our audience, and maybe let's do this Hakuna Matata thing one more time.
Oh, yeah,
let's do. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
See you.